PPG Paints Arena, usually home of the Pittsburgh Penguins, actually was the home of the 2021 Men's Hockey Frozen Four tournament. Robert Morris hosted the event, and it was actually a pretty interesting process into what led RMU to host this. UMass was crowned champions, but without RMU's help, they would not have been able to do that. So we sat down with Senior Associate Athletic Director Marty Galosi to figure out what went into the behind-the-scenes process of hosting this tournament and what difficulties were caused by COVID.
And we're just really happy that we were able to do it not once but twice. So contacts, putting in the bid, developing those relationships with the NCAA, making sure they know that Pittsburgh wants to be a stop. And we were lucky enough, like I said, we were lucky enough to get it once, and then they came back a second time in 2017 and said, you know what, we bid on it again. Yeah, we're going to give it to you again. Little did we know we'd be hosting in a pandemic.
This year's tournament was unlike any other, operating during the COVID-19 pandemic. Galosi mentioned the obstacles that they had to face and what it was like playing during these unforeseen circumstances.
We did the best we could under probably the most difficult circumstances that you could ask for. Now, are we lucky we were at this end of the pandemic versus, closer to it? Had this been held in, I don't know, let's say December, where would we have been? We probably would have been at no fans, meaning no one, just the people to run the games. And you couldn't have any less atmosphere with that. So at the very least, we're able to have 5,000 fans. And I think if you asked any UMass fan that was there, they probably wouldn't have traded it for the world. They were making a lot of noise, and they were excited about winning. So at least when when stuff went up on the jumbotron, at least there were some fans that were when you did the when the camera panned and people held up their signs or their flags, at least there were some people in the building. And it was pockets all around. Just like if you watch a Pens game, it was the same thing. You could see the pods all the way around, and at the end of the day, we had an engaged crowd, and it was small, but they were excited.
After an incredible slate of games, the University of Massachusetts defeated St. Cloud State in the title game, winning 5-0. Galosi spoke on what it was like to see UMass win.
This just happens to be where they landed. It was in Pittsburgh, and you have a national champion every year, but the kids on that team who they'll remember that. They'll remember that obviously for the rest of their lives. They'll have 10 and 20 and 50-year reunions, and they'll remember that they came here and they had a good experience. Really, what you want them to remember is that they didn't even think about any of the nonsense. It was just, oh man, Pittsburgh will be forever, an important part of my life. It's where I won a national championship.
Robert Morris is the only Division I NCAA men's hockey program in the entire city of Pittsburgh, and Galosi gave his thoughts on what it's like holding that distinction.
And I think it's helped us develop a relationship with people in the city that we wouldn't have been able to as a result. Yes, the uniqueness. I think you hit the nail on the head. It is unique. It's not a sport that everyone can just start and play. And our administration took that chance, what are we now, 18 years ago to do that.
As you can see, a lot went into the behind-the-scenes process of hosting this tournament, and the tournament, especially after last year's was canceled, was deemed a success for both Robert Morris and the city of Pittsburgh. Reporting for Colonial Sports Center, I'm Tyler Gallo.